Yeah. Check, 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 check. Yeah, hold stay, hold stay. Hold stay. Supposed to good now. I always forget. I always forget to control the mixer. Alright, but that is how it is when you're alone in the studio. Yeah man, so supposed to good now. Alright. So guys, back to this. Earth, water, fire, air, ether. Of course, their spirit, represented by a circle. Alright? Now, as you can see, the earth as a symbol. This is the Chinese symbol for earth, alright? Or it's Japanese. I believe, yeah, confirm that. Somebody who understands this language. But I believe it's Chinese. So, and then now the water as well. We have here the symbol. It's inverted triangle, I like to call it. Inverted isosceles triangle. And then what we have here is the fire, which is a regular isosceles looking triangle. And of course we have our air. But the twist is that with the earth, there's a line that is through the middle. Right? So I wonder if you can zoom. Alright, not able to zoom. But certainly you can see, you should be able to see from where you are. Alright, if you can zoom in. But this earth with the inverted isosceles triangle with the line close to the apex. Alright? The inverted apex. Alright. So again, earth and water look similar except for that line through the middle. And it's interesting because, you know, I question, why is this symbol used to represent these objects, right? But then again, we are taught in physics at the school level that there are four states of matter, and going beyond high school into university, we are told that there are even more. You know, liquid crystals, maybe super cool liquids, maybe the Bose-Einstein condensate, among others. But in terms of the classical approach, a more rudimentary approach to the states of matter, what we have here is these: the earth, the water, the fire, the air, the ether, the spirit. Alright, more on this one later. This is our 9 ether representation. Alright. Now, this knowledge is for the most part not taught in formal school systems. Well, I am from Jamaica. Right? Those who would know me, I am from Jamaica. Right? And I have been teaching in the school system for the past, well, the next 2 years will be 20 years. Right? Now, I started out in the private school system, and now I've transitioned into the public school system in Jamaica. Now, I have a passion for teaching, but I don't have a passion for the system that governs teaching in Jamaica. Right? It has some very good aspects to it. There are perks there. And it's not all bad. And this is the thing with life, what I've learned, not just as a teacher but as a human being, that there's two sides to life, right? There's our positive and there's our negative, right? And there's light, there's shadow, and we tend to dwell a lot more on the shadow than on the light, and there are positive experiences for me teaching in Jamaica in the system, that and we want to bash the system. I think we need to take a step back, literally take a step back, and observe what is happening with life. All right, with us as a human being individually, we have to take ourselves as a subset of the universe, and we have to look and see what expression, right? What expression do we represent? And it's an individual thing. The problem with us as human beings is that we often look for external validation, right? And that's not just um, everybody, it's even for me as well. We tend to look for other persons to give us a badge, a ribbon, a medal, even money. I think as human beings, ultimately, we were meant to be more than that. And I'm looking forward to the day when I can see myself as the true person that I was made to be, right? Which is not just a teacher, not just another man on this platform, just speaking, but to be the free soul that I am when I close my eyes and I have vivid, lucid dreams. That's the person I'm striving to become. Well, that person in my dreams is not limited by anything. That person goes everywhere and anywhere. And albeit, I wouldn't say without fear, but still, you get to travel, you get to do. And I think our knowledge system is too, what should I say? It's built too much around external validation. It should be more intrinsic. And that's just my opinion. I'm just a guy who has almost 20 years teaching experience in Jamaica. So I probably don't know anything, but I'm pretty sure when I'm doing this live, there are persons all over this world who would be tuning in or are watching this, maybe scrolling through and seeing this. The point is, right, we need to stop, or we need to find a way to get ourselves to appreciate what is within each of us. And remember, we are told that we are basically told everything. Even with this platform, it's somebody who scripted, whether by code or by commission, or whether by manufacturing, the whole idea from product development to the release and launch of the product, whatever it is. These become external tools, and I think the fundamentals of humanity is all internal. It's within the self, right? And so I know I might be going off topic. I really not really going off topic, but it might sound that way. But the point is, we have to get back to the basics of how we were taught. I don't think many of us were taught ancestrally. We weren't taught to observe nature, to pick up record patterns, to ask the questions. As far as I learned, I came across this piece of literature about Socrates, and that Socrates actually died for corrupting the youth. And if you know anything about Socrates, we would know that Socrates was a guy who, used a lot of rhetoric. He asked questions, and that's how he really posited his information. And so, with his approach to educating the youth, he was found with corruption. And then he had a choice of either going into exile or, recanting, or was it? No, the hemlock. Right, it was the hemlock. Right, yeah. So he was given the choice of the hemlock or exile, and he chose the hemlock. The hemlock is a poison. He drank it and died. And I am saying that to say that he is my inspiration. One of my inspirations as a man in Jamaica teaching for the nearly 20 years. Socrates is my icon. One of my icons. One of my major icons. Um, so I don't know. I approach teaching differently, right? In the real life context, we are judged by our ability to mark a register, to develop tests, to write lesson plans, and the whole assessment of your performance, punctuality, record keeping, that sort of thing, and that's all well and good. Checks and balances, fine. Um, but growing up, I never thought that that was well. I didn't thought, I didn't think that would be the major part of teaching in Jamaica, really. Or probably it's the same way. Just comment and let me know if it's the same in other parts of the world. But I never thought that that would have been the premise, though. I fell in love with teaching because of the knowledge that I was able to give myself access to, and to do it in such a way that I would have been responsible to impart that knowledge. And so that is the responsibility I was craving for, is to acquire the knowledge, ask myself the questions, just like Socrates asking the questions, and asking other person's questions and positing the topic. So I would posit the topic, ask questions, use the responses to develop the information, and persons should leave, right, with even more questions than answers, because that is how you get the continuity, right? You develop the relationship by the questioning. Again, like Socrates, if I was given that choice to go into exile and to drink the hemlock, I'm going to drink the hemlock. I might sound strange or weird, but that's just how it is. That's just who I am. I'm going to drink the hemlock. And if persons who would be my supervisors, all right, those who are in higher ranks, if they should see it fit that, all right, I am corrupting the youth because I am taking a more rudimentary approach to the subject of teaching, so be it. So be it. All right, there are certain things in this life that I am prepared to die for, and that is one of them. I'm prepared to die for teaching the truth. All right, what I perceive or believe to be true based on research and facts. Again, I'm not going to force anybody to learn, right? And so, if administrators are going to come at me and for whatever the reason, the point is, at the end of the day, as they would say in Jamaica, at the end of the day, at the end of the day is night. But no. But at the end of the day, I owe it to myself, knowing that I am not just a physical being. There is a deeper dimension to my existence. I owe it to myself to transition and to evolve. And part of the evolution is to share the wisdom and the knowledge. And allow persons who I'm sharing it to ask a question, to discredit, to say they don't believe, to reject it. But within the context of a syllabus that's given, All right, within the context of the syllabus that's given. Because remember now, I am a physics teacher, right? And physics will be taught as the study of matter and energy, and you have the different branches, right? But after years of doing the same thing over and over, going back to the books and going all over the place really, because that's life. You have to continuously learn. I'm coming back to some basics here: earth, water, fire, air, ether, spirit. This is what nearly 20 years of teaching physics has led me to. This is my mantra here. I need to understand these. I need to be able to embody these and to manipulate these. All right, that is where my existence in this realm is, and so that's part of my evolution. No, them always said those who can do teach. Well, I would want to. Well, that's again, that's external criticism, that's external validation there. I need to know within myself that all right, I am fulfilling the mission why I was sent here, and that is simply to be an expression of the universe, right? Just to be an expression, really, but an expression that will eventually integrate into the whole scheme. And these words I'm using, these are mathematical terms: expression and integration. And this is why I love math and physics. My big three areas of education: philosophy first, then the math, then the physics. That to me is the holy grail of education: the philosophy, the math, and the physics. We have a system that, when it is being said students do poorly at math, maybe it's something that happens all over the world. I was never the greatest math student, but I always appreciated maths. I remember the first book I read in high school about math. I was taught, or the book said, that maths was the study of patterns. And that had me scratching my head for years. Math is the study of patterns. And then, years later, I realized, oh, okay, cool. I started to look at some sacred geometry and thought, okay, if I draw a circle and another circle, then I end up with some complex relationship with shapes. I look at petals in the flower, I look at shells, snail shells, conch shells. There were relationships there. There were relationships aesthetically with the composition of the body, the shape of the human body. The relationship between the upper arm and the lower arm. There's mathematical ratios, right? And that led me to the discovery of they call it phi, but I don't know. I'm seeing so many different symbols used here. But the golden ratio here with the this symbol, that golden ratio. Alright. Not sure if you can see it. Better I carry the board to you. But if you can see it here, there it is. You see it, that golden ratio symbol. Alright. But let me just care about this board. Point being, and point being that our knowledge is compromised, I believe, and that's my personal belief, that there's some compromise that has been made with the selection of what is to be taught to students. And so on that note, I'm gonna end this live because I have some things to do. But guys, thanks for viewing, thanks for tuning in. DJ Raul keeping it cool once again. I am out.